Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or good day wherever you are in the world, and welcome to the next episode of No Dice, No Glory. Sponsored by our jobs that actually pay us money, we're coming to you not at all live from an abandoned arms factory deep under a mountain in West Virginia. We are proud to proffer to you the finest in wargaming coverage. Without any further ado, let's get this show on the road.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first Tales of the Sale podcast of the new year. Happy January. As we record this from our respective locations all over the country, it is the 5th of January, and we'll see when Troy sees fit to release this, but I imagine it'll be relatively close. I am one of your hosts, Tom Chairborne Mullane, and I'm joined tonight by Glenn, the Child Chaser Van Meter.
Oof, that's not going to age well.
That came out wrong right away. He's been chasing his little girl, trying to get her to go to bed. I'll just clarify that. She might be screaming in the background, but so Glenn, say hello.
Tom's going to be the reason I'm wanted in 7 states. Hi, everyone.
Tyler, I don't even have a good name because I'm worried now. So this is Tyler Stone.
Hello, everybody.
And we are joined by our special guest. It's always a privilege to have him around, and that would be Mr. Mike Tunez. Say hi, Mike.
How's it going, guys? Happy New Year.
So Mike is
Happy New Year
in his backyard. Happy New Year, and he's
freezing to
braving
death. Yeah.
the bitter freezing cold of Florida, and us New Englanders are making fun of him for it. All right, so we're gonna talk about what we've been up to. So let's start with we'll start with Tyler. I'm gonna go a different order here because I want to save Mike for last because Mike's got the most interesting stuff. I think we're all pretty boring, and Mike's really interesting.
Yeah, we really are. As far as what I've been up to, mostly I've been looking for article material because we were spoiled. We had the entire season of Kickstarter previews and tape for all of that. I got some looks at the new army lists as they were coming out, like just preview material for that. Now it's kind of back to the normal. Hey guys, I got to play a game over the weekend, except we're all still on lockdown. So
yeah, I feel like the bread and butter of all the articles and stuff that we write is usually the games we get to play, conventions we get to go to. So it's been a little tricky. I mean, I've gotten some stuff painted over the holiday break because I had a vacation as a teacher, but it's been slow, especially after just how busy and how crazy it was, which is something I'm sure we'll speak to a little bit later. Glenn, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been trying to get stuff painted for once because, believe it or not, I don't actually paint a lot. And, we now have a 2-month-old, so between the kids, yesterday was my first day back to work after parental leave, so somehow all of my time disappeared into the children, and very little got done. But I'm hoping with an actual schedule now, I'll get back to doing things.
Had you had grand plans for what to do during your paternity leave?
Yes, and
none of it was paternal.
Yeah, even with COVID and knowing COVID was a thing, it still managed to wreck my plans of the day. I was going to put Alice in daycare for a couple days a week so I get things done. And then my wife was home from work longer than anticipated, and daycare got shut down multiple times, and it mostly just ended up being me babysitting the kids 24/7.
Sweet.
But I think you had a lot of fun doing that. I mean, it sounds like you had a lot of fun in all the lead up to the call. You did animal flashcards. I learned a lot. I learned that in Maryland, C stands for crab, and you told me that that's accurate.
Yeah, pretty much.
I have been getting back to teaching. I've only taught for 2 days. We are full remote until the 11th. That is the plan anyway, at which point we're supposed to be going back to hybrid instruction. We'll see how that goes because the cases in New York are still kind of nuts. So I did get to use the multiple cameras that I kind of have to show off some of the Blood and Plunder stuff that I have painted for students in my military history class. And there's a few kids. One of the cool things that I'll kind of mention that I got a chance to do that I don't think I really discussed in the last episode we had was I designed a Golden Age of Piracy game. And I think I showed the draft of this to Tyler and to Glenn. But it's basically a game that gives you a rough map of the Caribbean and South America. And the kids get to play the role of the different major European powers, and they have to try to kind of plot scheme against each other. And I have a board where I kind of use some of the oak and iron minis to like display where people's fleets are and stuff like that. And it's like obviously a pretty simplified, abstracted thing, but the kids had a blast. They really betrayed each other. I think I destroyed a few friendships. And, I'm proud of that. That's the goal.
That sounds awesome.
Teacher. I look forward to doing it in an environment where I get to actually have the kids meet face to face and like touch the miniatures and put hands to dice and things like that. But for now it worked out pretty well digitally, so I'm happy with how it turned out. So Mike, I turn it over to you, man of the hour. You got the Kickstarter done, and I don't think we've officially talked to you since. You popped in a couple of paint nights, but
yeah.
How's it been since it wrapped up? And what were you up to for the holiday?
Oh, just hanging around. No, nothing much to talk about aside from all the things that I've been doing. So I've so basically pretty much throughout the end of the Kickstarter until it continues. It goes on even now. It's been 90% of all my days are just spent working on all the details of these all these models that we're working on, trying to get into plastics. It is definitely a substantially larger workload than the metals we've done in the past. So that's pretty much been eating up the majority of my time. Some development stuff, but it's kind of had to take a backseat to the sculpting work that's being done and all the details for the models and all the different parts and things and bits. We have an update planned for this week because we really haven't had a lot to show because most of the stuff we've been doing has been just really tedious background stuff on like fine-tuning the sets that we had done to make them ready for the molds. So the sailor sprues were turned in, or the sailor models were turned and now we've got them split up and we're just kind of reviewing that, making sure everything fits right. Things where it needed to be corrected and all those things. And it's basically just sitting with the sculptor via Zoom and in a digital environment and just getting parts and putting them together, making sure it looks like it goes where it looks natural and it connects the way it needs to. And it's just that's been the majority of my time. I dream about it now. It's my waking hours, my sleeping hours. So it's I'm looking forward to it being done. It's going to be worth it. It's coming out really well. So, but we've got
you definitely made a lot of progress over the course of the month. I feel like you've been working so hard, you probably got a lot done.
It feels like I don't because it's just so tedious and it's just so time consuming to do every little part. Since the Kickstarter has ended until now, we've pretty much got the sailors totally done. The soldiers are nearing completion. And we had some trouble with the militia, and we kind of scrapped where we started, and we went back and did. And we decided to base it off of some sketches, so we did some art for them to get a better direction for it. So the art for that is done. That's one of the things we're going to show this week. And so it feels. It's one of those things where it's a lot of work, and it feels like you're making no traction, but you can look back and see where it's coming together. And our sculptor, as I've talked to you guys in the past, thankfully is finally in remission and doing a lot better. As of about 3 weeks ago, he's pretty much been given the clear. He still can't come in and work with us because he's since he's fresh off of his treatments, he's compromised, I guess, vulnerable
still
to COVID. Yeah. Compromised, yeah. So his immune system's not 100% yet. So, but we're looking forward to probably next month and being able to work in person together again, which is way faster and just more efficient. So that's where things have been for me. I've got the chance to do a little bit of gaming. Thankfully, there's a local guy around here who plays Blood and Plunder who's been willing to come in and risk me infecting him with COVID to play games. So that's been good. Even though I don't have it, I'm pretty sure I'm capable of giving it to people somehow. So
well, I like right before the break, I had to quarantine because I had a student who had popped in to school, and he later found out he tested positive and stayed home. But I didn't get sick. I went and got tested, but and we're all wearing masks, so like the transmission rate in the school is usually pretty low, so it's pretty safe as long as you're wearing a mask and not being a dope.
My brother's teacher too, and he's had that happen to him several times already, and he has not caught it yet, thankfully. So
I'm really glad to hear the sculptor's feeling better. I was going to ask.
Yes, thankfully
I remember you mentioned that.
He's doing way better, so we're all really encouraged and happy about that. And it's just now that he's back full force, because that was part of the reason we were going a little slow before too. Is he was still doing treatments and constant doctor's appointments and things like that. So he wasn't really able to get a ton of work done. So now that's changed. He's back to full-time work. Still not working together in person, but that's okay. At least things are getting done. So we're very happy about that, and we're happy that he's well. He's improving, doing so much better. So we're looking forward to seeing him in person again.
Well, on our show notes, we had listed what you were up to as sleeping peacefully with nothing to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we knew that wasn't true.
That's what I wanted to say, but I didn't want to. That would be a lie. I just can't bring myself to do it.
Well, here's kind of like a related question, because I suspect that you didn't have a lot of opportunity to do any kind of like personal little passion projects. I mean, this is a passion project, obviously. But did you get yourself any big gift for Christmas, or did you get a big gift for Christmas? What did you get from Santa this year?
My kids got all a gift for Christmas, which was that's it's always fun to see, because my oldest is 4 years old now, so he's way more aware of Christmas stuff than he was last year. So because his birthday is in September, so he was 3 last year, but he was just he's just freshly turned 3. So he's still excited and stuff. But this year, he can talk to me about it and tell me how he's feeling about like his excitement, and you could see where that was really cool.
What was the big gift he got? What was he most excited about?
The big gift that he got, and this is actually why I don't have a big Christmas gift, is so he's gotten really into this show called The Octonauts, which is no longer a thing for most people, but thanks to YouTube, it's a thing for my child. So that's his favorite. That's his favorite show. So their little base is called, or it's like I guess I don't know if it's a base, like their little submarine that they live in is called the Octopod. And that's what he's been asking for nonstop. Is I want an Octopod. I want an Octopod toy. And he literally just draws them all day. So it's like obviously the thing we had to get him. But of course, because it's not really a thing that's being produced anymore, everybody scalps them online for super expensive.
No.
So I ended up buying this what's normally like a $60-$70 toy for almost $200. It was like $180 on Amazon. So but it was worth it, because he loves it. He runs around the house with it all day. He doesn't let it go. He was so excited to get it on Christmas morning. So this is one of those things. So you make the sacrifices where normally I'd be mad about it, and I was kind of mad about it. I was like, these people, but
you wait till he falls asleep and you steal it from him and run around the house with it.
I punch it. Is what I do. So somebody made a pretty penny off me on that, but whatever. At the end of the day, it was worth it. So, but I haven't really. The only kind of side thing I've been doing is just to prevent myself from burning out of repetition of the work we've been doing lately. Is whenever I feel myself really stressed, I'll do a little work on Frontiers. Just play a test run that and do a few things with that, and to get that out finally, because it's it's really pretty much done. It's just like we keep playing testing on it. It's just holding steady. So some small tweaks. I did one big revision a few months back, and then that was ever since then it's pretty much held steady. Just small tweaks here and there, but that's been about it, really.
I'm looking forward to trying this game out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really good way to almost demo people into Plunder.
Yeah,
I think it'll be a good entry point.
It is. It's a very different game, though. Despite sharing the same spirit as Blood and Plunder, like you could play it, and you can like it. Every unit in Frontiers, every unit has the exact same stats as its Blood and Plunder counterpart. The only difference is what the experience level does. It just has a different effect on the game. Has more to do with how many points you generate, which is your points. Your action points, which are to how you activate things.
Okay.
And it's not dissimilar to Blood and Valor, but different from Blood and Valor. So somewhat in that, it's like somewhere, it's kind of a compromise between the two. But anyway, that's a little different. And then the special rules in some cases will do different things since the mechanics are different. But the stats are the same. So if you shoot and if your shoot's a 6, you're still hitting on 6s on a D10. Difference is you can use those set action points we previously talked about to add dice to that attack, and you can pick a better dice, stuff like that. But I've talked about these things before, I think, with you guys. So
I think so. On the different paint nights and the round tables. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it is New Year's, and this is my favorite thing to do. Any of the podcasts that I used to listen to before I helped record any of these, I always look forward to these episodes because it was a chance to kind of catch up and see how well people had done hitting their goals. This year, we were laughing about this before we recorded the episode. I think we made some allusions to it during the December recording, but I think that the way that we should run this is to have one of the other podcasters run down them piece by piece and ask, did you accomplish this? And I say that because so I'm gonna let Glenn take the lead on this for several reasons, because Glenn and Tyler, I believe, went back and listened to last year's podcast in January, one of our early ones, first ones, and listened for what our resolutions were. And so and I know Glenn takes special pride out of just making fun of me, and I deserve it. I really do. So Glenn, go ahead and read down the things that I said I was going to do last year, and we'll see how I did. Go down the list.
Well, I'm just going to point out, it started off pretty early because in the episode, Tom said that he'd be back next episode with consequences and rewards for these resolutions either failing or being completed. And that didn't happen.
That's his first break right out of the gate.
Friends we made along the way.
Yeah. So, Tom's first resolution was to have 2 tables worth of Pirates terrain finished and ready to play for tournaments, demos, etc. And I believe he specifically stated 3x3 tables.
Yeah, I failed. I would say I have 1 table worth. I have a marketplace, and then I made a bunch of the hill scatter terrain along with like palm trees and stuff that I can modularly put in. So I have like 1 table's worth for a land game. But I didn't make any of the new stuff that I intended for the second table. I didn't build any of the buildings. I didn't do that. That's a fail. I failed on that one. Here's my suggestion for the consequence of these failures. I would say that Tyler and so the other 2 podcasters, and Mike, if he wants to throw in something, pick you, like when we do our new resolutions for this year, you all get to brainstorm and pick one, because for the most part we chose the new ones for ourselves for this coming year, but you get to give me one of them because I did so badly on all of these. So just think about that in the back of your head while we're finishing going down the list.
Wait,
so
wait,
two
wait,
tables
wait,
of
wait,
the Pirate Terrain fail.
So we just get to give you consequences like after the fact that you've already failed?
Yeah, I mean, there has to be some recognition of the fact that I did not succeed at any of these resolutions. And I really don't have much of an excuse. So you guys can all brainstorm together one resolution I have to do this year.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought we
So we
got
don't
to
get to
punish
do
you
it.
somehow.
Well, I mean, that resolution could be kind of a punishment,
Okay,
Yeah,
well, I could start right now. I want you to climb
start
Mount
thinking
Everest.
about it.
Hold on. Wait. We still have
Save it. Start thinking about it.
to our dear listeners. This is a highly organized exercise.
It's
Though it may not appear.
Like every other episode we've ever done.
We're going to go over what we did or did not accomplish this year, and then we have a section where we're going to go over what we're doing next year.
Correct.
So when everybody goes over what they're doing next year, we will then add on at that point.
At that point, yes.
Well, then
Yes.
abuse Tom. Okay.
Got it. Even though I already said it, but
Keep going down the list.
All right. Tom's next goal was to finish his Team Yankee Soviet force.
Nope.
I don't even remember hearing about this thing.
Nope. I didn't even remember I did this. I had all these tanks assembled, and I had a paint scheme for them picked out based on like the 1980 Chechen War, and that did not happen. I haven't even used my airbrush once this year.
I'm gonna be honest. Re-listening to the episode, I was like, "Oh yeah, he did mention that. That sounded like a really cool camo scheme."
That's right. It did. It still might be someday, but it wasn't last year. Save letter C for last. Save letter C for last. Because,
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Build the suspense. What is letter C? But we're on to D. Your third goal was to write 12 articles for the year.
I really thought that I would be able to do an article a month. It seemed like a completely reasonable thing. And if Mitch is listening to this in the course of, I'm sorry, Mitch, I failed you. Like, I did not write enough articles. Yeah, I only wrote 4. So I think I set a goal that was too high. And I think COVID helped because I expected that a handful of these articles would be the 3 conventions I usually go to every year. And then when we didn't wind up going to any of them, I got stuck. And yeah, so there it is.
I scoured NoDiceNoGlory.com. I found the 4 articles, and they were, I think, all in October, November.
No, I did write previews for BrickBooks and did over the summer there was a series of 3 articles I did, which were mission reports from my friend Shane and I, who played a bunch of battle reports out of the D-Day book. So it's probably closer to 7. But it's still
Maybe.
nowhere.
I did not find them.
Then I don't know what happened to them, but I might not have put myself as an author on them.
They might have been in the draft folder.
No, they got published.
Because you didn't tag them as done on the back of the.
They got published.
Oh no.
Which brings us
okay.
to the last
Point
one.
is, you didn't get to 12.
I did not. No, I did not succeed.
All right. So, all right. Somebody, I'll go right before Mike. So, Tom, you want to get Tyler?
Oh well, we didn't cover the letter C.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I got to the end of the list. I forgot we went.
So
past
I
the
would
middle.
point out that I really thought this was a gimme. I thought this was the most easily achievable goal for a New Year's resolution. It was thrown in as a joke, and yet I failed. Glenn, would you tell everybody what letter C was?
Letter C was to win a game of Blood and Plunder.
I remember that one actually. Yeah.
And it's not for lack of trying, because I did actually play several games of it this year, despite the quarantine. I messed up. We did all the stuff we needed to, and I probably got in like 8 to 10 games between demos, everything. But I always lost.
Published solo rules this year.
All right, so Tyler, you get to do Glenn, and then
I get to read down through Glenn's.
You get to do Glenn's.
All right. Glenn, your first one was Dutch and Spanish. You wanted to paint up 150 points Is that each?
Each.
Each. Might have
Um,
actually gotten this one.
hold
Kind
on.
of.
Wait. No, wait for it. Out of those, my Dutch are in the exact same state they were in before, only with more unpainted models.
Well, that's not entirely true because
That doesn't count. And
the
they arrived,
militia I
I think,
sent
in the
you
new
for
year.
Christmas are a Dutch militia.
That's true.
So
That's
that
true,
helps
but
you
I
a
didn't
little
paint
bit.
them.
Yeah, you
They
did.
were unexpected.
just trying to help you out.
The only thing I got painted was 24 points of Spanish Milicianos.
You
Nice.
talked about those constantly. You didn't get more of those done?
I have like 2 sets of 16 that are like half done.
Batch painting for the
And
loss
Glenn,
on that one.
Glenn, I bought an entire Spanish force with additions that you recommended. I have probably maybe 200 points worth of Spanish right now.
I had painting ADD. You know what I didn't put down that I did do was 3 ships, including rigging them. And the Braves weren't on the list. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's on the list, and just I didn't get to anything on the New Year's list. I painted a bunch of other stuff.
Well, the Braves hadn't come out
a
yet.
lesson on how bad we are at setting goals.
Or at least the follow through. I mean,
Yeah.
I even my clan Jade Falcon stuff for BattleTech that, you know, reinforcements for Mike's army, and just didn't make it. Didn't get done.
Tyler, let her be.
Yeah, let it be. A pair of World War I forces, 50. I assume that's 50 points each.
No, I meant 50 models.
Models each.
Gosh.
I expected this to go a lot better. I have the Phalanx starter box for the French and Germans, and the War Games Atlantic box for the Germans. And they are all sitting in a tub, unassembled, waiting to go.
Nice.
They are not. They're not painted at all.
I don't know if that's a full 100 models even.
No, it's. I think
Yeah, the Phalanx are like
ones
25
are like.
each.
Yeah.
27.
Is it?
I think it's 27.
Okay.
I remember it being
Wow.
two
Then,
more. It being 2 more than our boxes.
Okay.
It could vary. I don't know. It depends on gun teams and stuff. I know that it's roughly 2 more than our boxes.
It's like 2 squads of 8, a commander, a gun team, and an assault squad of 4, right?
Yep.
That's
The
like
commander
23.
has 2 models.
It's 2
with
less.
him. The
It's 2 less.
commander's got 2 models with him,
Oh.
and it might be 26. Yeah, it might be 1 more model. I think something like that.
Point
I don't
is,
recall. I know he has
they're all
more than
still
us.
silver.
Then you also wanted to paint up the Oak and Iron core set and 2 expansion boxes.
Yeah, listening to that episode, Mike was talking about how super easy these things are to paint.
I was just about to say that again. They are really easy to paint.
Yeah. You know what else? They're really easy to stick together and then put in a box. And
That's even easier, actually. Yeah, that is true.
Which I feel
Can't
is
argue
part of
with
the
that.
appeal.
now I did do a couple of Oak and Iron demos for local guys, in the few months of summer quarantine that we could play outside.
You also did succeed in teaching me how to play it over tabletop simulator.
Yes, we did tabletop simulator games. But again, no painting. Did not happen.
Well, at least with Oak and Iron, you don't have to feel too bad about it, since you do get the ships have some color on them, so it's not just gray models on the table,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Store camo is not as bad because it looks like remotely like a ship.
Last thing you had, and I think you kind of get a pass on this one, was to fill your quartermaster card each quarter. With demos,
Yeah.
tournaments, events, articles would work towards that.
I would honestly give him full credit for this because
Really?
I think that you held a ton of them. You held events at stores. You did reach out to local community stuff. You held that huge game, doing practices for the eventual convention game you're going to run. I think you did a good job on this. and even though you didn't fill the QM card, you also get some credit for all the paint nights we've been hosting regularly.
That's true.
I think you're being too hard on yourself. I'd give you the points for that.
I gave myself half credit, but sure, if you guys are gonna give me full credit, then yes, I actually achieved one of my goals. Because you're right, I have held
which makes you
an
the
event like every other
valedictorian
month.
of Tales of the Sale. All right, Tyler, we come to you.
Okay.
So I would try to do an imitation of you to pretend like it's you saying you're going to do these things, but I wouldn't do it justice. So item 1, I will get back into regular painting, finish painting my starters, and try using GW contrast paint. Did you succeed?
I came up 4 cavalry short on finishing all of my starters.
That's close.
I knocked out the specialists from the Pirates and Privateers set, and I think I shared those on the Blood and Plunder page, and that was it. That's not all that I painted, but pretty much everything I have is painted except for the horses and the cavalry. Kind of leads to the contrast paint. No, I didn't mess with any contrast paint.
That's kind of two different goals, and we could definitely give you full points on the one.
Yeah, for sure.
I heard that the contrast paint is really good for the horses.
It is.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, I want to mess with that. I still haven't been able to bring myself to spend money on contrast paint.
It's okay. We're living in a post-money apocalypse anyway. Nobody needs money. It's
Yeah, I mean, like,
season.
we trade bottle caps for it. Like, are we on the?
We're just
boy...
trading coronavirus. That's all.
Yeah.
Just use your stimulus millions that were handed out. So just buy a whole collection.
my Donnie bucks.
Yeah.
Like they're twice as much as a regular pot of GW paint.
Yeah, I think it's
but they are
slightly larger.
They are twice as good too. And so far, I haven't had them that long yet, but so far they haven't dried out. So there's that.
No, mine haven't.
That's
I've had
pretty
them
good.
for 6 months, and I would say that like I lucked out though because I got them at a store that was local that is no longer with us, and they were giving them away for 75% off. So I was getting them for like $3 a pot. So I did that thing that Homer Simpson does at like the Quickie Mart where he just takes his arm and just pulls every frozen treat into a bag. And I was like, I'll take all of these.
Really, Tom just ripped off a store. That's all.
I paid the price they asked for it. I don't know what else to tell you. All right, so number 3, meet other HUD heroes at conventions.
All these conventions we went to.
I feel like you get a pass on this one, okay? Because that's not your fault. It's completely out of your control. I feel like you totally would have.
I feel like that's an excuse. I feel like he should have powered through.
Should have. I could have gone.
Tyler just shivering outside of an abandoned, convention center in Lancaster, being like,
"You could have started your own
go?
Convention and done it that way."
This is why I'm the teacher.
It seems like going the long way around.
Yeah, because I'm looking at all these things and I'm like, how can I give these kids credit? And Mike's like, why don't you make your own convention? That's an excuse. You're a quitter.
Don't worry though. I'm sure someone will show up to HMGS Cold Wars in March.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, jeez. You and I could have shown up to that. We had intended to show up to that.
Have they not canceled that? Is that still on?
I don't think it's been canceled. Although if Governor Hogan has his say, it will not be happening.
The PL I believe was due in when was it? It was due early January, if not like today. I think it was like maybe the 5th.
It actually might be
but
tomorrow.
We had a conversation about it. Yeah, it's due tomorrow. So we'll see what they get. But most of the people at No Dice No Glory were like, nah, we don't. Most of us didn't feel comfortable, so we're not gonna do it.
Right. Well, I certainly won't be there, and it's totally because of coronavirus. That's the reason.
Yeah.
It's not at all because it's called Cold Wars.
It's
It's in the Northeast
Cold
in
War.
March.
Yep. That's nothing to do with it. It's all COVID.
Number 4, Tyler, get a 6th rate, which I feel you had an opportunity to get.
I've had
Yeah.
plenty of opportunity to do this.
Been quite a few sales.
You have so many
Without- yeah.
Master doubloons, they started just shipping them to you in chocolate coins, and you still haven't spent the money you need to check this ship.
Yeah, I have not pulled the trigger on adding it to the cart and
That's
go
good.
on. Building suspense for
Mike Glenn can fill in on this because I know he went through this particularly, but you were smart.
Yeah.
Wait,
You
hold on.
made no-
I do want to say, for anybody that wants to go back and listen to last year's episode, we talked about Mitch already having a 6th rate, that he probably had it painted, and that he probably cuddles with it at night.
Yes.
I did reach out to Mitch and confirmed all of that is true.
Yeah, I know that.
So,
He sends me a picture of him cuddling it every night as he goes to bed, which is
I believe that.
that's scary because Mitch sleeps in the nude.
yeah.
yeah,
Trust me, I
It's gonna be
know.
very-
At this point,
very carefully positioned.
yeah. Not that carefully, unfortunately.
Lord. This is like the Rated R podcast. Anyway, so Mike's resolutions from last year. Glenn, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, Mike promised us one big resolution, which was otherwise essentially not to run Firelock Games into the ground, or we'd have to be interviewing a scarecrow dressed up as Mike.
Correct. Yeah.
Since he's here, I think that's the
succeeded.
spoiler.
He did. He made it.
We did it. We did not go out of business last year, so I
Despite the
managed
fact
to
that-
make that work.
You got some of the biggest curveballs in history.
You did. You really did.
Yeah. Good Lord, we did. Somehow we managed to get through it.
And Glenn and I were talking, and I think that if you succeeded in not running Firelock into the ground, I had promised something.
Yep.
So I've given some serious thought to what to give you, Mike, and it's going to be one of my resolutions, of which there are a lot. I've got a long list for myself this year because I have to make
Oh, good
up
Lord.
for my failure. You can see myself adding stuff on there. So I need
So
to
planning
add
for
it
failure,
on.
folks.
This is letter
Yeah,
K. Letter K. So I'm going to be creating a custom terrain piece for you, and I'm
Ooh.
excited because I got this new the terrain guy book, and he does like a YouTube channel. He's great, and I was part of his Kickstarter, and the books went out around Christmas time, and mine came in like 4 days ago. It's very well written. He should be very happy with the job that he did, and I have my foam cutter. I have all my scatter terrain, all of the bits and pieces, the spackle, and I'm excited to get started. So I have a clean workspace, and I'm ready to roll. So
Cool.
I also have 30 treasure chests. Okay, and I got a whole lot of glitter. So I'm going to create like a treasure hoard terrain piece, and I'm going to deliver it to you the next time we are at a convention.
That sounds awesome.
That's the goal.
I look forward to receiving the treasure hoard.
Treasure hoard for Mike. That's
Oh,
the first
he's writing it right now. That's pretty
I'm
impressive.
typing
right
it right now. All right, so I think we should come up with some more concrete rules about, like, rewards and consequences for next year. So when we record it next time, we'll talk about it at the end. But for now, I'm going to just run down my list of the things that I have here, and I feel like Glenn's camera's not on, but I can feel his judgment. I feel his judgment is coming through the microphone.
I'm mostly judging you guys on how this outline got messed up.
That's true. It's not formatted very well. All right.
Yeah, I couldn't see it
One.
on my phone. So
Yeah. It goes from the number 1 to Roman numerals 1 through 4 to E through J for Tom's resolution.
But then also somehow mine goes 1 and then 2, and then Tyler goes up to Roman numerals, but then back down to 5, 6, 7, skipping 3 and 4. I don't understand what's going on here.
I don't either.
Broke
really.
Google
All right,
Documents.
I'm gonna fix this. I swear.
It doesn't need to happen, Tom.
It has to be fixed. I'm a teacher. I believe in that.
I'm more concerned that you
I see-
have
I
like
actually
half
see how
the
you're breaking
alphabet
it.
worth of resolutions here.
All right, so I'm gonna talk about goals here. All right, and as somebody whose sister has run 2 marathons, I have not. I'm gonna piggyback on her accomplishments for a moment,
Nice.
if I could. My sister knows a lot about setting goals, and one thing she told me is to set measurable goals, achievable goals, and it should be something you reach for and fail to get, which I feel like I spectacularly flamed out at in 2020. So for 2021, here's my list. Okay. Letter A. All right. I'm going to create the following pieces of terrain in 28 millimeter.
Oh, there's subsections to each letter.
Subsections for each
Interesting.
piece of thing I'm going to do, because last time I said I'm going to have 2 tables worth. But honestly, what does that mean? Okay. So now I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have 8 small pieces of jungle scatter terrain. I'm going to make 10 objectives out of these treasure chests, the ones that I'm not using for Mike's treasure hoard. I'm going to try to create a resin river system, because I've always been excited to try that out. And I'm going to create a small port with a dock, which is 3 buildings and water effect is required in some fashion.
Cool. That alone. the river and the dock, or the river and the water effects alone are just going to. Wow.
The terrain guide book inspired me, and I'm setting myself a little calendar. Okay, so I'm not going to get to December and then send all these selfies of myself, covered in resin, screaming, because I will be doing this gradually over the course of the year. This is also kind of an overlapping one, because the next one I have is, I guess I'd call this letter B, even though our terrible formatting has messed it up. Have a 3x3 custom-made terrain board to do demos with. So I want to be able to use the pink foam to kind of create something that I can use the pieces that I've listed above on. And now they're all Roman numerals.
I'm fixing it. I figured it out.
Glenn thinks he's figured it out. We're playing with Google Docs. So I'm gonna have a 3x3 custom terrain board to put the terrain on.
Are you going to have that contoured and that good stuff on the 3x3?
Yeah. It'll possibly be modular, so I might do it in like 4 pieces with the corners, so I can kind of push it
like 18 by 18.
Yeah.
Kind of sections.
Yeah, that's the idea. I want it to be transportable, durable, so I'm going to make the wooden frame for it as well. This way, I can take it apart, put it in a car, and set it up. Bring it to a con and use it for demos and stuff like that. That's the idea. All right.
Nice.
Item 3. Finish my newly ordered Spanish Force. And I would say this is also an achievable goal, because during paint night starting in September, I managed to finish 2 full commissions. I finished the entire English starter box, and I finished the entire French starter box. So this is doable as long as I pace myself and do a couple a month.
And we have no plan to stop paint nights, so.
No, we're going to keep doing them every other week. I really enjoy it. It really does motivate me to get stuff done.
It is the only time I get anything done.
Sometimes
lately that's been true for me as well, yes.
So that's the case. I'm going to save 4 for last. So I'm going to set a goal of writing 8 articles this year. I'm hoping there's a convention, but that means I can skip a couple months. I can hit 8 articles for sure. I'm going to label them very clearly, so that when Glenn goes back to fact check me, he will find them more easily. I might even save them on this document so I can post links to them so we can have proof. I would like to run a game at a convention. That's number 6. I have my treasure hoard for Mike as number 7. And then my last one, which should be easy, is to win a game of Blood and Plunder in 2021. It's been 2 years. Like the Buffalo Bills, I'm due.
I think you need to remember your sister's advice in this one. It's got to be something, achievable that you could probably do. I think I mean, it's
Settle
good
for
to
a
have,
draw.
yeah, as maybe settle for a draw. That might be, or at least to make it to the end of the game without being tabled. That's a good start.
No, I'm gonna aim high. I'm gonna ignore your advice and stick with winning a game of Blood and Plunder. And I'm gonna take photos of my victory with an opponent. So photos required or it didn't happen, because otherwise I'll just be able to claim that I won.
I mean, that's
also
the internet rules, right?
Be one of those solo games, because I'm a loser in that game as well as a winner, so I can't just claim that I won that game. That's cheating.
Internet rules. Pixar didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so that's a staggering list, but I'm going for a degree of difficulty here. So, Glenn, walk us through your goals for 2021.
My goals are largely a rehash of my previous goals. For painting, I still want to get my Spanish and Dutch done because they're kind of the major parts of my collection. And I do have forward movement on them, so there's that. Several of my club members have been asking about Blood and Valor lately, so the World War I forces had already been moved back up to the semi-top of the painting list, possibly with consequences later this episode. And then the new one, considering the success I've had in painting 3 ships so far, and the fact that I have invested in sales for many of these already, so all I need to do is paint them and then ruin a paint night by trying to rig them.
And super unfriendly or unfamily friendly paint night.
Yeah, I'm usually sequestered in the basement for those. Have at least one of each Firelock ship completed.
Wow, that's lofty.
Now to be clear, how close are you to that at this point?
At the moment, I have completed, and I'm not counting the ones that I bought that are already done. I'm talking about done by me. I have a bark, tartana, and sloop finished.
Well, did I mention that we're going to release 17 new ships this year?
Just for you, Glenn.
He
really needs a new pair of shoes.
We have to get these sculpts done. Otherwise, Glenn's going to win this bet.
This has been one of those times where I really should put a limiter, as of what's released right now. But you'll note, Mike, I don't currently have a galleon. I'll have to get one of those.
Yeah.
So what's the list of ships you need to do then, according to this?
Like, to purchase?
Yeah.
You just typed it. I
Just
own
a
a
galleon?
6 rate. I only need a galleon.
Okay. So
You have a Corvette?
Oh! Ooh!
Well,
Tyler gets it.
Aha.
There you go.
this is why you're a
Corvette. I forgot about the Corvette because it's not a resin. Now,
does that count the new plastic sloop as well?
I was about to ask, are we going to count the sloop and the Balandra?
I think you should, because you're going to get them. All you got to do is build them and paint them.
Well, I know they're coming if Mike, even if Mike has to airdrop like one crate at my house.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can put a condition on this, which is that if the Kickstarter delivers when we hope it does, but if it's not, I don't think it's fair to hold him to account for not.
Well,
that's true.
I
what
would
if
argue
it's
it's not possible? It's not a Firelock ship by that point.
Well, it still is. It's just, there's already 2 that exist.
I love Mike's Mike's like, why don't you just go steal one of the ships from the warehouse before they ship out? That sounds like Twitter talk to me.
This is what I end if they don't get arrived on time. Like, this is when, like, December 30th, I have 2 3D printed sloops show up on my doorstep.
I was gonna say
for the authentic building experience.
Well, I was gonna say, I could just totally sabotage you, and I could just hold back the shipment, and then make the entire Kickstarter community mad at you, and also make you fail your bet.
And then, like, on December 31st, you're standing outside of his farm in, like, a Jedi robe. There's a storm. And then you see this giant crate, and he opens it up, and it's the sloops.
There you go.
Like, you have 24 hours. Time's running out, Glenn.
All right. So I'm gonna get one of each Firelock ship completed. Blood and Plunder scale. Let's designate that. The Oak and Iron ships are probably still. They might happen. Who knows? I want to finish working on the Port Raid convention scenario, and this will probably tie in with Tom's goal of running a game at a convention.
That's true. We could partner up on this and both get one done.
Yeah, we can use all the Spanish you're gonna have painted.
That's the
Because
plan.
mine may not be painted by that point. So we've already done 2 play tests on that, and it keeps getting bigger, but we'll see how it goes. No, I think we're gonna settle. The scale is going up, but we're moving it to army scale, so I think it's gonna be actually playing faster than it was playing already.
It probably will, yes. Army scale actually
Yes.
plays surprisingly fast. We've played some pretty massive games at conventions in a really short amount of time. I remember
Yes.
we did like at a local convention where there's a lot of people who know. Most of the people who were playing knew how to play, and we did I think it was something like 1,500 points, Army scale, and finished it. I think it was like 3 hours, including setup and breakdown.
Land or sea?
I was land, including setup and breakdown. It was about 3.5 hours because we didn't finish. I think the sessions are 4 hours, and we finished with time to spare.
That's impressive.
So
See,
Hold on.
this is already moving into be multiple scenarios.
here's a recommendation: is your scenario land? Is it a port rate? So I imagine it's amphibious, right?
Yeah, it actually starts with the pirates trying to sneak into the bay and land. So they need to get into the port.
Mhm.
And they need to do a fine balance of achieving objectives versus not letting the Spanish have too much time to get defenses ready.
Keep the board narrow. That's been a big
It's only
trick with us.
I had it playing on like an 8x4 where they come in on the narrow, like they sail along the long side.
Ooh.
But much of that, like at least 3 or 4 feet of that 8 is land. So it's not like there's a ton of sea room. So anyways, we can discuss this all later when I do more work on it. But yeah, I've got it fairly far along. But I will say I was surprised that even heavy cannon on a bluff along one side just do not command that much distance, because if they're more than like 20 inches away, they just can't penetrate a hull, no matter how many dice they throw.
They can, they're just much less effective.
I mean, you can always go for the critical.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. And my final resolution, since we're doing a monthly bet now, which is also massively helping me motivate painting, is my resolution is not to lose one of these bets to Tom.
To quote one of my personal heroes, from hell's heart I stab at thee. Quote Captain Ahab. I will make sure that you lose one of these bets. I don't know what has to happen. I might like book your babysitter or shut down your daycare and tell Alice attack. But no, I do find the bets big time motivation. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having something to make sure I get painted every month. This is a good one. Good resolution.
It is, yeah. And, you know, there's 12 chances to fail.
I'll get him on one of these.
Not just one. It's 12 chances to fail. And it has nothing... It usually has anything to do with Tom. It's like, what did I set for myself that I didn't achieve?
Yeah. To be fair, I'm usually not a huge detractor for you. If anything, I'll be a reminder. So
Probably,
more of an
yeah.
assist than otherwise. Tyler, what are your New Year's resolutions for 2021?
So kind of similar to Glenn's ship purchasing. I have been trying to get one of everything that Firelock has put out, and I'm actually pretty close on that. Like when I've got a galleon, Corvette, and that 6th-rate pickup, 2 plastic sloops. But so far on the Kickstarter, I'm backed to have at least one of everything from that coming in my pledge. So some of the terrain stuff, not the foreground or the what's the other one that you guys have? The painted stuff.
Oh, the Miniature Building Authority?
Yeah. Not those. I'm still looking for the one English militiaman in I would go and forget in the Montero cap. Yeah. Still looking for that. If any listeners have one of those just hanging around somewhere,
I looked for
I was
one
able to
for
get
you.
the activation set.
I looked for
I
one
might
for you,
have
but I
one.
could not find it. I don't think we have none. Like they're all gone from us.
Tyler, I might
And that
actually
mold
have
fell
one.
apart.
If you have one, I'll give you some painted Spanish.
Ooh.
Something.
We're striking deals. We're making deals.
Does that count? Does that count though? He said he was going to paint them. That was resolution.
I believe.
I
I'll
wouldn't.
paint it.
I wouldn't count
I
it.
won't
towards my
take pictures of
resolutions,
them or
though.
anything, and he can be like, "Look, guys, I did these.
Glenn's,
Amazing."
Glenn's resolution is legally vague. It simply says Dutch plus Spanish forces 150 points. So, in the strictest legal sense of the word, I think he's safe. I think he's good.
Oh yeah, and I'll even go and really help you out and send you like soldados.
There you go.
Upgraded to grenadiers and done.
And done. Yeah. Like to get a modular table put together. I kind of have a plan on how I might be able to cheat this one out, but this is only for use at home. I really like the fat mats that I've got, the Caribbean water and shoreline and all of that good stuff. So whenever I'm out playing demos or playing away from home, but I have a table in the basement, I'd like to get some 3D terrain on it.
Cool.
I would like to get 2 of the Blood and Valor forces done. I have noted here shipping dependent, because we were talking in the last paint night. I really like the Woodbine models, the Gallipoli line that they do of the Ottomans, the French, and the Anzac forces. I've got stuff coming from Germany, from Feldherr, and I'll be lucky if it gets here before. Like, it was supposed to be a Christmas gift, and hoping to get it in time for my birthday in February. So
I wouldn't plan your invasion of Russia around it.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then the last thing that I have, and I think that was Glenn that was typing this into the outline, is I want to learn to love competitive play by participating in a narrative tournament, which is something that we were discussing doing recently between Glenn, Tom, myself. It's something that Mitch has run before. It's basically 3 linked games. So there's a storyline going through it, kind of a coherent theme.
Mm-hmm. So hang on, I got to ask a question about this one. So you said your resolution is to learn to love competitive play via this event.
So we have to put this event on.
So if you put this event on and you don't love it, did you fail?
Ooh, that's a good question.
You know what? I'll say that's fair. I'm probably going to have to. I have to help, but I'm going to help it together. So if I don't have fun, I failed everyone else who showed up at the tournament. So
I'll be honest with you. Like, I think the only other major narrative tournament that I've ever done is the one that Mitch mainly helped design for Team Yankee, with the Cold War Gone Hot, all the special rules and stuff. And it's kind of everybody got to play games, but the games were linked. You had a lot of flexibility in the kind of lists you got to play. I could definitely see helping you put something like that together, because I was running it only played on I think 2 of the games, and I still had a blast doing it. I enjoy the kind of tournament where I get to be a little competitive, but I get to see how what I do helps the team or hurts the team. So
Which side were you running,
I
Tom?
had a great time. I think you
Which
will
side-
too. I honestly do.
Tom, which side were you on?
I was on NATO.
Oh, okay. And I will say these are excellent chance for people to earn nicknames, such as my friend Ben earning Chemical Ben.
Chemical Ben. Is he? Yeah, I love that he launched a chemical attack, and I got.
It did nothing.
It did nothing. It didn't succeed, and then I wanted to launch a NATO chem attack, but you need permission from the commanding general to do that, and the commanding general was what's his name?
Chris Jackson.
Chris Jackson, and Chris Jackson did not have much of a sense of humor in that respect, because I went up to him and I'm like, "What if we dropped chemical weapons on this guy?" And he's like, "No, NATO would never do that." And I'm like, "Bear with me for a second. What if they did?" You know? and he didn't crack a smile once, didn't think it was funny at all. Know that what's happening on this table, it's not really happening in central Germany, you know. Like if it were, but that did not sway him. But thankfully that will not be a whatever narrative tournament you design, Tyler. There will not be a chemical. Well,
I was about to say.
I don't know, man.
Hilarious.
It could.
Oh, the disease.
Chemical warfare.
And I
Which
think that
brings us
puts
to
us on Mike, right?
Yeah. So, Mike,
Yeah.
do you have any personal goals, Firelock related goals for the new year?
And I don't think you get to skimp out with just saying you're not going to run the company. this
Yeah,
year.
because I think
Well, of
you're
course
not
I can.
allowed to go out of business because we need that Kickstarter delivered.
Well, I can commit to delivering the Kickstarter. How's that sound?
Okay.
You know what? Yeah.
So Firelock related Kickstarter delivered in 2021.
Yep.
Okay.
I feel
is when-
I feel fairly confident in being able to commit to that.
This is where he's going to be airlifting it at the last minute because
That's right.
DHL screwed up the shipment or something. Not DHL. I've had a good luck with DHL. I just don't know who he uses for shipping.
Definitely not DHL for that level. That would be way too expensive.
China Air.
Any other like general goals just for Firelock in general? Things you're really hoping that you get to see next year.
So next year, I'd like to see at least 3 of our sort of satellite releases that we want to do, such as the Blood and Valor expansion that's just about done. Some of the other games that we've got floating around, like Frontiers and Blood and Crowns, and several others that don't have final names yet. But we've got a lot of really cool things that I am excited to get out and publish. And these are purely rulebook releases for the most part, but they are going to be just really cool games that I'm excited to see hit the market.
I think those are
I
both.
don't know how he managed to do it because of the time difference, but I can hear Joe Forster screaming, Oregon, something about maybe like a French and Indian War, or no, it's not really coming through all that clearly.
That's weird because I could have sworn it was something about fortifications. Maybe it was Fort Duquesne.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's real weird.
Maybe, but I don't know. What do I know?
Just
But,
keep that going.
Yeah, there's I will not commit to anything French and Indian War or Fourth Rate Blood and Plunder. Those are 2 things 2 people
Oh
want.
God.
And
I feel like Joe Forrester can take that disappointment. I feel like the guy's a triple threat.
Mhm.
You know, he's super handsome. He can play guitar. You know, I just.
He also runs a business.
Mhm.
He does.
He does,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, he does. Joe Forrester rules.
Yeah,
all right,
he does a lot of stuff. I don't know how
Yeah, but-
I don't know how he keeps up.
No, I have no idea how he does it because I see the amount of stuff that they post and I'm
And
in
he-
awe.
I think he's got more kids than Mike and I combined too. Like that's the
I'm
crazy
pretty
part.
sure. Yeah. I think he has like 17 or something like that.
Yeah, I believe that.
What about Mike? I don't want to hand you one.
He's obviously just running a sweatshop.
But it's possible, yeah. Or at least working toward it. They might all be too young still. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just going to take the farmer method of like contracting labor, yeah, having children,
that was
giving away my secrets.
That was my
yeah,
dad's
right. Glenn's like, in about 16 years, I'm never going to mow a lawn again.
My
16.
birthday present from my dad when I turned 15 was that he took me to get my working papers and then dropped me off downtown and told me not to come back until I had a job.
Nice.
That's how Tom became a transient on the subway system. No.
And that's
So
why
Mike-
I live in Connecticut.
Mike, not to make up a resolution for you, but any fire starters, or is that a satellite release?
So I can't commit to any of that because we actually Firestarters might actually move to a new platform. That's something that's potential. We're talking. We're in talks. We're in talks of trying out different crowdfunding options this year. So you may see a different sort of crowdfunding this year.
Is Raise the Black through GameFound?
Through that's the pledge manager that we're using. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. So.
On my bouquiniere.
Yes, once all the sculpts are done for the plastics, we'll definitely start to see some. We've got 4 or 5 metal releases planned for this year. So
Nice.
Okay.
Making
but all hands
Tyler's
on
job
deck.
harder.
All sculpting hands are on deck right now to finish all the Kickstarter stuff first, because that's once those sculpts are done, then we've while those things are getting cut and the molds are getting done, then we can sculpt the others, the metal sets. And metal sets turnaround time is super quick in comparison. So, probably Q2 we'll see the first metal set roll out, and then you expect probably 2, maybe 3 in some of the other quarters, based on what we end up doing. Because we also have another Kickstarter planned for later this year.
Ooh.
If we're able to get Raise the Blackout is out, soon enough.
Oh, no.
So if we can, we're going to try to eke out another one. But
Wow. Is it
either way,
about-
development's getting done for it regardless. So
you're just trying to ruin Tyler's collect one of everything.
Oh, he's just trying to take all my money.
Yeah.
why can't it be? I'm doing both. Let's be real.
I will gladly pay the man.
Do you so circling back a little bit, Mike, do you have any personal gaming goals that are not like related to Firelock itself?
Yeah, I think you need to give us like one painting goal, modeling goal, personal goal.
Like finish a Jade Falcon Galaxy or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's really easy because I can absolutely guarantee that every figure we put out this year will be painted before we release it.
Ooh, okay.
Not by
Wait,
me
hold on.
necessarily.
I was gonna say
Why are you making resolutions?
you're just creating work for Rufus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
you're
much.
just making Rufus work harder.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the good thing. That's why I don't really ever have that much Blood and Plunder stuff to do on paint nights, because Rufus does a pretty good job. Why am I gonna do all that work when I just can have Rufus do it? So it makes it easy. I can commit to that all day long.
Stuff you
I
paint
commit
does
to.
always come out really well.
All right, go ahead
So-
and put it down then. That's the personal goal.
What, Rufus paints a lot of models?
Yeah, Rufus paints all models. This way, Mike's fate is totally in Rufus's hands, which I feel like is hilarious.
That's what it'll be. Like,
How it should be.
send you 12 models. Why don't you send me back
Well-
11 painted ones?
considering we pay him to paint them, I don't think he's gonna try to sabotage me. So
No, he won't. He won't.
That's fair.
otherwise, he
Rufus is
absolutely
too good a
would.
guy.
He almost might
Yeah.
even turn down the money just to sabotage me. But at the end of the day, He's got a cigar habit. I mean, he smokes like probably 18 packs of cigars a day. So he's got to keep the
Wow.
money coming in.
I feel like he might pull a Brewster's Millions on you and like hide one model, you know, behind the window, and then at the end of the year he'd be like, "Oh no, Mike, so sorry, this one skull didn't get painted."
Well,
all right,
what a shame.
so I have a suggestion, because we were not very clear with our consequences and stuff like that if things don't get done, or I think I like the idea of making it kind of a reward for the person that did the best. So my suggestion, and I typed it on the bottom of the notes for the year, and you guys can tell me what you think of this. So this time next year, when we make our New Year's podcast, whoever is the most successful with their resolutions gets to pick a resolution for each of the other podcasters in the new year. This way it's kind of a reward, but it can also be something ridiculous for the people that quote unquote lost. And originally I was going to say that Mike is the judge, but if Mike's participating with these, you know, then, you know, I don't know how fair that is. What do people think, Glenn? What do you think about that?
Well, I can guarantee that I'll be impartial for the most part.
Yeah.
We can also force it to be like by consensus. I feel like we're all generally honest people.
Yeah,
here.
Mike would be the judge, but he's not included in the who's most successful, just because. Yeah, you know, if he gets a Kickstarter delivered and gets his releases done, he's good to go.
He's good to go.
and it makes work for most of us.
That's fine. So I'd say like between the three of us then.
Yeah.
And then Mike's the judge. You're okay with it? I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Mike, are you okay agreeing to come back and judge us?
Sure.
You're from now.
I can do that pretty well, I think.
We're once again contracting Mike an entire year ahead of time.
Yeah, we are. That's fine. Well, with two Kickstarters, you know, or well, possibly a second Kickstarter, I feel like Mike's got a lot of stuff planned. So.
No, you heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks. 2 new Kickstarters this year.
That sounds
Thanks, Tom.
different. That sounds like a different number than I said earlier, but
Oh, Lord. All right, so we have this all written down. I'm going to print it out for myself and just tape it above my computer so it's constantly moving over me because I gave myself twice as much to do as all of you.
And highlight the first half of one page because that's what it took for Tom to write out all his goals.
That's right. It's the best. I'm excited. I'm excited. All right. Narrowing down to more local stuff. Glenn and I have our bet of the month. We both succeeded in the last month.
We did.
For those of you who were on paint night, both of us got a full unit of Braves painted. I got 8 done, and you got more than that, right? You got 12.
Yes, I did my full 12.
You did full
Although
12.
I will say, they're probably not as pretty as they could have been.
I'm
but-
happy with mine. They painted up really nice.
I think mine look good. They probably could have been more colorful. I'm gonna be honest.
I am not historically accurate in any way. Like they're greens and purples and blues and stuff because it just looks cool. One guy has like this like deep indigo shirt, and unless he made an impromptu trip to India, I don't feel like we would have had access to that dye, you know, in 1750.
you'd be
Yeah,
surprised actually
exactly.
because of the pirate round.
Really? Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, there was
It's historically
pirate-
accurate.
It could be.
Oh.
Yeah, 1690s definitely.
Okay. My goal for painting this month is going to be to get an entire unit of European Sailor Musketeers done. I'm talking about 8 of them.
8 European Sailor Musketeers. Okay.
Those are my favorite models. They're so versatile. Use them for like almost anything.
Yeah, they're terrific.
Oh
Paint's up
yes,
really
I
nice,
was
too.
picturing European sailors, but yes,
Um,
I was looking for last month's outline so that I could repeat what the bet was, but then I just couldn't find it.
Okay. And I'm going to give us until the 29th of January, which is the 3rd paint night. Because the next paint night we've got is going to be on the 15th.
Right.
And then after that is the 29th. and so it'll be due pictures by the 29th.
Wait, pictures by the 30th.
But by the 30th, yeah, by the 30th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, I think that you're doing your European Sailor Musketeers. I was talking about Blood and Valor. I think I'm gonna have to get done some Blood and Valor minis.
That's a good call.
But they're all uniformed, and I feel like I need to like really like be judgmental against myself here because slapping French blue on 20 guys is not gonna be hard.
Or so you think.
Well, yeah, it's French blue, so maybe I'll just do the Germans instead. But
Wait until he finishes typing because he's trying to sign you up for punishment.
well, we had it written down, but it occurs to me that I think the outline was in Tom's possession.
That's correct.
He wants a mini Mayan head terrain piece.
Like, didn't you make a bunch of like scatter terrain that's like
Easter Island heads?
Easter Island type stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, I did make an Easter Island board for tournament play.
I would like one of those cool little heads.
If you win,
If I win, yeah, that's what I want.
I will get you a pair of them.
Sweet.
If I can,
Okay.
I'll see what I can do about finding you some Easter Island terrain.
Weirdly, there's a house in my neighborhood that has two gigantic, I guess, statues of those heads in their front yard.
Did you point out?
They are.
Did you point out to them that, like in this game, they're completely anachronistic?
I haven't spoken to them. I just drive by occasionally.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna say, I'm going to paint at least one squad of the Germans. So that's eight Germans.
Okay.
I believe a squad could be up to 12 in Blood and Valor.
Okay. 8 Germans.
Well, Mike.
8 and 12 Germans.
8 to 12 Germans.
I'm hoping to come back with the whole box painted and just be like, yeah, boom. But
no, don't do that.
You got a month.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna promise the world here.
Half the box, and then for February, just bet that you're going to paint the rest of the box.
I already got all 3 boxes.
What, and then
painted.
rest of my laurels? Like,
Lord knows you're doing that.
Well,
I love how telling it is that Glenn is picking a goal that is coinciding with 2 different things that he set as goals for himself during the year. And my goal has nothing to do with any of the 8 things that I said I would do. We're off.
Well, now hold on there, Tom. You could be wrong because those 8 European Sailor Musketeers could be your key to a win. So
they could.
Or the
Also,
Spanish. We played as Spanish, I guess.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you could also probably throw them in as to water out the Milicianos or make Castigadores.
Right.
Oh, okay. I like that. So this. I'm more on track than I thought I was. Feel better.
I mean, it's just making your Spanish starter larger, but sure, yeah.
So Glenn, if you win the bet, what are you gonna get?
Oh, I don't. What did we bet last time? I was fine with just continuing the bet from last time. That's why I was trying to find it.
I think I was gonna buy you dinner or a beer when we were there.
Oh yeah, well, I thought we were hesitant on that because you were gonna end up owing me an entire spa resort weekend.
Well, that was when we thought we were gonna keep stacking these, but I feel like if we each succeed, the bet just gets canceled and put off.
Oh man.
Because if it stacks and we get to the end of the year, it's like
Glenn's like, but I already put in vacation.
Joke's on you, Tyler. My company doesn't give us a lot of vacation. If you're not having kids.
on you. We only get pizza for our essential work.
Yes. What was your reward?
Oh man,
what kind of pizza was it?
Okay. If Tom wins, I have to make him a mini Mayan or the Moai headpiece. Let's just change that to Easter Island so I know what he's talking about now.
Yeah.
If I win, I'll give you Tom. I'll give you some terrain. I want a Man, I have so many ideas. I'm thinking like a sea monster. Doesn't have to be huge. Like
Okay.
like I'm thinking like a kraken tendrils kind of thing. Like nothing, not big.
Tom's gonna get off this thing wall-eyed. Like, I need to paint now.
It's
That's
gonna
exactly right. I'm gonna go prime in my underwear, even though it's a lot colder up here than it is before Mike. We're still stuck outside.
I had to come inside, man. I couldn't hack it. Kids were
I'm
sleeping,
impressed
so I'm fine.
you endured that long, but yeah.
Yeah, it was. I'm proud of myself, honestly. So
All
I'm
right,
surprised
it
I
is
was
a
out
school
there
night.
at all.
It is a school night, and Mike was very cold. So, any kind of parting things you want to mention of stuff that's coming up for Firelock,
Well,
either
wait.
in January or February?
But wait, don't we have to first assign punishments to you for not completing your task last year?
What? I don't recall that conversation happening earlier in this podcast.
I do. It's weird.
All right, so all right, what's gonna happen then? What's gonna happen?
Well, mine for you, as I said earlier, is that I need you to climb Mount Everest this year. So
Okay.
you start training.
Okay. Tom will climb. All right.
You
I
didn't put
already
any
know how I'm gonna
limitations on
accomplish
this.
by the way.
So
Tom
You
will climb
literally
Everest.
failed up. He started with like the big hill near your house, and then just every time you didn't hit one, he moved. He was like, "All right, Pikes Peak." Like,
I'm ready. I know how I'm going to accomplish this. I
Oh,
have more
God.
confidence about this one than I do about almost any of the others.
good deal. All right.
All right, Mike. What you got?
What? I already said mine. That was it.
No, final things happening at Firelock
Yes, I
in
know.
January, February.
So,
That's right.
well,
Tom was the only one that didn't achieve at least one thing, right?
That's true. Yeah, I epically failed.
So the question was, what's going on at Firelock right now?
For the next 2 months.
Next 2 months. Next 2 months is basically just get a lot of sculpting done, and then a lot of writing done to finish up the book.
Are we looking at any releases?
Probably not in the next 2 months, just because of that. Like, there's just so many things. Like our release that
break.
our releases are all of our efforts are basically going to be going into the Kickstarter stuff, because we need to come out at the end of Chinese New Year, which is essentially March. We need to have like everything ready for them so they can just start printing and running the thing, right? So that we can try to get ahead of the curve and be moving as fast as possible on that. And then that frees us up to do so much more throughout the rest of the year, right? So we did some interesting things that have happened recently I should discuss, is that we are actually selling out of tons of things, which is kind of a great problem to have, but it's still a problem nonetheless. So we're pretty much out of almost everything Oak and Iron except for core sets, dice, and Men of War. The rest of the stuff has pretty much been sold out, and unfortunately, I've been trying to reorder for months, but with the holidays and everything, it's just been super difficult because we had a big sharp increase in sales for everything right after our Kickstarter, which was great. It was kind of a nice boost that we needed. But now, of course, everything is gone, and we have to scramble to get it back so that we don't leave people. It's always frustrating to get into a game and you can't get stuff for it. So, but those things have been ordered. They've been ordered for a couple months, but we're just we're sitting in the queue, unfortunately. So, we should have them probably around March. All the Oak and Iron stuff back in stock. Blood and Valor is about to sell out. So if you want a Blood and Valor book from the first print run, now it's time to grab one. We're very low on those. Those have been reordered as well those should be much sooner because they are being printed here in the States. The next print run, the next print run will not be in the States. We're gonna go back to our other printer we did the Blood and Plunder book with, probably. Just because I think once we get the expansion out for Blood and Valor, and it's gonna add so much to the game, it's gonna really sandbox it, kind of make it so that you can play so many different things in general of the 19th century. Like as of right now, I don't know if it's gonna make it to the final version, but as of right now, Pancho Villa's in there. So, and stuff like that. So it's going to go a little bit beyond just the First World War and start to cover things like Russian Revolution and other things like that. So there's going to be just a ton of really cool early 20th century stuff you could do with it. So I think we're going to have to start ordering larger numbers of those. But it's cool that we basically, it's going to basically have sold out in less than a year, which is really good, especially considering the year we just had with COVID and everything where people couldn't actually play games. So we're really happy with how that did, and looking forward to getting more of those other books out. That is, it definitely won't be the next 2 months, but we'll probably send. I suspect that we will send Blood and Valor expansion to print within the next 2 months. So there will be things in the works. You'll get previews. You'll hear lots of things. You're gonna see lots of cool models and stuff. You're gonna all the plastics and the sculpts and such. You'll start to see previews coming pretty quick now that we've got the ball rolling on it really well. So there'll be lots of Kickstarter updates and things like that. But those will be the main things to watch for over the next couple months. But beyond that, we've obviously got all the metal lines that we talked about. First up on the list are Bucanieri.
Yeah.
The Nices, the Young Braves, and a North American Native Commander. So to round that out, so you can get those. The French and Indian Wars PDF supplements will be coming out as well. Probably actually that's actually something that will probably be out in the next 2 months. I think about it because that's basically going to be pieces that are pulled from the pieces that will be pulled from the Raise the Black book for the things that are out now that you can use, right? So like the Braves, for example, and the North American Natives, the later North American Natives. So that stuff will be out by almost for sure by February. So
Very cool.
Nice. Well, I think I'm looking forward to this year for a lot of reasons.
Oh,
I think I'm actually going to get to play a game. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I almost forgot a big one. It's actually not probably relevant to anybody listening here, but I just got handed today, the final for a Blood and Plunder Spanish translation.
Nice.
So
Cool.
That's our first translated version of the rules. I have to review it and make sure. Thankfully, I can read in Spanish, so it's very helpful. I've been reviewing it to making sure all the ideas came across and rules and such came across as intended. So that is getting reviewed now, and you will probably see a release for that in PDF form very soon. And based on the response, maybe even a print run of the book for that. So we'll see how that goes.
Very cool.
Great. I know there's a community down there. 4 guys that I think it's 4 guys. Every once in a while they post on the Blood and Plunder page that are a lot like us, maybe a little bit better organized. I don't know if they're the ones that helped with the translations or not.
It was a club in Spain, and I forgot the name, but I could probably pull it up right here real quick. But I know one of the people, one of the groups that are pretty active, and they have a podcast in Spanish, and they're out of Mexico. They're out of Mexico City, I believe.
I think they're the guys I'm thinking of. Yes,
so they are doing a great job of just kind of getting the gaming scene going down there. You know, they had a tournament recently, and I think they told me they had almost 30 players.
Wow.
Which, you know,
that's impressive.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that rivals what we've done here. So that's awesome. So the group is I gotta open my, where is it? I'm looking for the actual, because they credited themselves in the book, but I just got to remember. Oh, that's right. Okay, I got it. I found where I hid it in my files here. So they are the. Then I went too far. They are something tercios. What was it? Where the heck? Oh, el último tercio. So the last tercio. The gaming club out of Spain. They are responsible for the translation. And
Man, that is such a cool name.
It is.
We get stuck with a pun, huh, Glenn?
They sound like a really cool game club. They kind of just have like a big pool. Everybody contributes stuff and everybody shares. It's like gaming club communism. You know, it works well in small groups. So it's
Your words, not mine.
But it's yeah, it sounds really cool. So we've obviously they volunteered this. They didn't even ask for anything. Obviously, we're gonna hook them up with some stuff, but they just volunteered to give it to us to put out there because they were doing it themselves, and they so far have done a great job from everything I've read. It's that they have that funny Spaniard Spanish that I'm not familiar with. They use some words that I had to look up, but otherwise it's good. It works. So.
Well, it's cool to see the game expanding all over the globe.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That'll help.
We're looking into French translation as well because we know that the community is growing in France as well, and in France, French-speaking countries and Spanish-speaking countries tend to not have a ton of English speakers. So unlike some other countries like Germany, where most players will speak English and places like that, but not the case in France or Spain or Mexico. So.
Well, I'm really hopeful that at some point in the new year or in the future that my losing record can be international.
Oh, it already is, Tom. We've had a pretty good international community.
That's true. I do.
Yeah.
I have an international flavor to my failure. All right, so it's a school night, so I'm gonna wrap it up because I have to get up at
Well, I did have one question for Tom, for Mike.
Go ahead.
And that is, I was able to get a hold of one of the new foreground, the wooden dock sets.
Nice.
Are we going to be able to get those through your online store anytime soon, or
I don't know about anytime soon. We have a really good relationship with the guys from Foreground. We like their stuff; they like our stuff. But the trouble for both of us is we're trying to work out a better way to ship things to each other so that we don't have to pay an arm and a leg in shipping, and the delays with international shipping right now and stuff with COVID and everything. It makes it a little complicated. So we're looking for ways to set up some kind of freight service where we can kind of exchange products back and forth, because they are distributing our stuff as well in the UK, primarily Oak and Iron right now, but they're looking to expand into Blood and Plunder. But again, it's just cost ineffective to send all the metal overseas in small batches. So we're trying to find ways to kind of help each other out and do larger freight shipments or something that we can make it work with. But it's, unfortunately they're dealing with that whole crazy lockdown mess over there. So it's not an ideal time. They're trying to keep their business afloat over there. Not that they're doing poorly at all, obviously, but it's still just a lot of hecticness and craziness with the lockdown. So once they're a little more settled and things settle down a little bit, and hopefully these vaccines help alleviate some of this pressure, we'll get it rolling. It will be something we do eventually. It's just a matter of when and how, but we are working actively toward it.
Okay. Yeah, I totally get the shipping thing, that it can be quite expensive.
So.
Yeah. That can.
Yeah, one of their orders, I think they add 20 or 25 pounds for shipping.
Yeah,
one of the reasons I was asking.
That's not surprising, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah,
right
the
now
initial
works out to like $40 for us.
Yeah, the initial order we did was we had already committed to it, but the price tag was rough. I was like, this is kind of hard to justify. So, we love their stuff. Their kits are amazing. Like when they sent me the full port set and we put it together and set it up and we played games on that, we're like, man, this is incredible. Like, we don't need to really bother with terrain. We need to just get this thing out. But
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We'll get it going. And I think we'll get more resources throughout this year as we continue to grow both of our ranges. So
Sweet.
All right, I think it's a good place to stop. So we have given ourselves a lot to do this year, all of us. And I look forward to joining
Some more than
everybody
others.
again in January of 2022 to see who's the winner. And I'm confident that I'm going to get this stuff done. Yeah. So, Glenn, you want to sign us off?
Yep, sure. Well, everyone, thanks for joining us for yet another long Tales of the Sale, and we look forward to seeing you not only next year in 2022, but next month and every other Friday for paint nights. So,
And a big thank you to Mike for coming on.
yes, exactly.
You're very welcome. Happy to be here. Looking forward for pictures of you on Mount Everest, Tom.
I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
Just do it on a paint night. I'm sure you can get Wi-Fi. Just take your Ethernet cable with
Yeah.
you.
There you go.
It's just trailing a spool of Ethernet.
The reception's really bad. Top of this mountain.
What's my lag?
So cold.
All right.
So
See you, everyone.
if they get it out in time, next paint night is the 15th.
15th, yes. 15th.
Please
Yeah,
see you all then.
Yep. Bye.
Thanks so much for joining the show tonight. Remember to follow us on Twitter at No Dice, No Glory, and keep the conversation going on NoDiceNoGlory.com, now featuring our own message boards. Have a great night, everybody.